We have multiple Rams updates on today's episode of the Rams Digest. We're going to talk about what fans are reacting to in terms of the first video we're seeing from Emanuel Forbes Jr. A little bit of some buzz on social media about what he looks like in practice. We're also going to talk about what Sean McVay has to say about what Emanuel Forbes looks like in practice, and is he going to play this weekend? All on today's episode of the Rams Digest and more. If you guys are not subscribed, go ahead and do me a favor and subscribe to the channel right here, right now. I have not done any major updates to this, but 93% of you guys are still not subscribed. Looks like 6.5% are subscribed, so looking okay. But again, obviously a lot of you guys who are coming back watching the videos not subscribing to the channel. It doesn't cost you a thing, so go ahead and do me a favor and subscribe to the channel right now if you are not subscribed and you want some more daily Rams content. Here we go. Let's get into the first story here. Social media going a little bit crazy. Now we're talking about Emanuel Forbes Jr. The Rams put out a little bit of a video of him in his first look at practice. Looked good in my opinion. Coming out here, making his moves. The video wasn't anything too crazy, but we'll get into this topic of conversation here. Social media reacts to viral practice clip of new Rams corner. Now, I do want to preface this by saying a couple of things. First things first. Personally, I'm not a fan of fans criticizing players unless they're on the field, right? Like if you see a player on the field, they're making bad plays in a game, things like that, like, okay, I understand. But here, what we're talking about is just the physical look of Emanuel Forbes. And I'm not a fan of judging players like this, but this is what the fans are talking about. This is what's kind of got social media buzz, and this tweet did go viral from the Rams, or somewhat viral, with a lot of reactions at least. I don't want to say viral because it's about 5 to 10,000 people talking about the conversation, but really essentially what we're talking about is this look right here. And I did get a screenshot from the tweet that the Rams posted. I don't want to obviously I can't really get a screen recording of it, but I wanted to get this screenshot here. And first things first, I do want to acknowledge the Guardian cap that he's wearing. For those who don't know what they are, essentially it's extra padding for players to wear. Some people argue it doesn't really do much in terms of protection of concussions, but hey, any type of protection that is allowed by the league, I think go for it and wear it. The reason why it's kind of important to point out here in this screenshot is because Emanuel Forbes, the reason why we're talking about him is he's a little bit on the thinner side in terms of players in general, right? And I'll pull this screen right here a little better so you can see. He's really, really skinny, right? He's very, very thin, and he's always been like this. I think on draft night, they said about 166 pounds on draft night. So very, very skinny, very, very, very thin for an NFL player, let alone an NFL cornerback who's going to go out there and have to be physical with 6'5" plus receivers at times, mostly 6'1", 6'2", receivers. But regardless, that's kind of a topic of conversation on social media in regards to this video. So we'll pull up what people are saying. Quick little screenshot here. We have a couple of Philadelphia Eagles fan, I'm assuming, saying they wanted this dude to guard AJ Brown, question mark. Someone else responded, man, this dude needs some LA food. That was kind of a little bit funny. He's in LA now. Some Mexican street tacos, burritos should help him bulk right up in no time. And then fellas, don't skip leg day. Again, personally speaking, I'm not really a fan of making fun of what a player looks like physically, especially just because I feel like it's like they're professional athletes. So physically, they're probably going to be in better shape and have a better physique than 99% of people who are laughing at them on social media. But hey, it was something I did want to acknowledge. Again, fans going a little bit crazy, reacting to it. I think at the end of the day, it is an important note, I guess, to something to note moving forward about Emanuel Forbes is if we do want him to go be on the Rams and locking up the other team's #1 receivers, we are going to need him to strengthen up a little bit and bulk up a little bit. Now, I will say, being someone who is super, I'm not someone who's thin, but someone seeing people in my past who are super thin, just because someone is super thin doesn't mean that they are not physically strong. I think I just want to note that he is a very, very thin a guy, a slender athlete. But we've seen guys. Look at the NBA, right? For example, you look at a guy like Kevin Durant, right? It hasn't really derailed his career. Brandon Ingram, a very thin guy, doesn't really derail their careers, right? So obviously, different sport and a more physical sport when we're talking about Emanuel Forbes. But I don't think that's his #1 issue, I guess. Maybe it is. Maybe he needs to bulk up a little bit. But I think it's something to acknowledge for sure. Hopefully he can work on it if it's something that is maybe holding him back from becoming a true number one cornerback in the NFL. Of course, then acknowledge it, and hopefully the coaching staff can get with him and on a program so where he can kind of bulk up a little bit. But you're not looking at cornerbacks looking like the size of linebackers either out there in the NFL, right? So don't over exaggerate too much on this aspect. I don't want to harp on this too much. Again, I don't like the conversation of talking about a player's physique, but that was something that happened, a topic of conversation this week in Rams news world. But speaking of Emanuel Forbes, is he going to play this Sunday? I mean, that's kind of a big question that a lot of people have. Are we already going to see him on the field? It gets a little complicated, I think, when we're talking about defense and cornerbacks, right? I think even in general, on the offensive side of things, receivers, running backs, it might take a while to learn the playbook. And I think we underestimate how much a defense needs to understand their playbook and their assignments as well. And so with that being said, this report here, it has already been confirmed Emanuel Forbes will not be playing this Sunday versus the Buffalo Bills. A little bit disappointing for sure, but not necessarily unexpected. Actually pretty expected in my opinion. On my side of things, I didn't really expect Emanuel Forbes to be out there for the couple days that he has been with the Rams and already ready to play. But he is probably in NFL game shape. I mean, he just came off from Washington playing some games for them, at least maybe not the last couple weeks he was there, but definitely was in NFL shape, season shape just a few weeks ago. So I don't think that's the issue. I think it has to probably be a lot more to deal with just learning the playbook, getting along with teammates, kind of getting that chemistry, seeing what the Rams do well, and trying to fit what it is they do well. And we will say I had pulled up a quote from Sean McVay, as Sean McVay said, Forbes will continue, just take it a day at a time. He's looked really good in some of these practice settings. You can see his movement, and he is getting up to speed with some of the things that we're asking. So there Sean McVay has it. He is telling you, not yet, but we're taking it a day at a time with Emanuel Forbes, which is kind of, again, just expected from Emanuel Forbes, new player, still younger guy as well. Got to learn the system, got to learn the playbook, got to learn where he has to be and where his teammates are going to be. So that way he can be a reliable player for the Rams on Sunday. We are playing the Buffalo Bills this Sunday, so a lot of an interesting matchup that the Rams have on their plate. Again, we've talked about this already. I think probably their biggest game of the year to this point. But the Bills taking over SoFi. The fans, are they going to take over SoFi? I mentioned this a couple episodes ago. I'm actually going to be at SoFi Stadium this Sunday or tomorrow as I'm recording this for the Rams game. So I'm excited to be there for sure. And in my experience of being at a lot of Rams games in recent time, it is very, very often that the stadium is filled with the opposing team's fan base. Just kind of what it is in LA. We've seen Matthew Stafford talk about it. Many players discuss the conversation of the Rams sometimes having to go to a silent count at home, right? Doesn't necessarily mean it's automatic why they're losing games sometimes at home, but it really does put the team at a little bit of a disadvantage compared to other teams who have just stronger fan bases at home. And I don't want to say the Rams fans don't show out. If you guys have ever gone to a Rams game, the Rams fans do show out. You've been to the tailgate. They do go out. They spend their money. They buy jerseys. They're repping the team. They're all updated with their new uniforms, the new jerseys. They are wearing old jerseys, some of the St. Louis Rams jerseys out there, out in the tailgates and things like that. So I think you got to give Rams fans a little bit of credit. They are trying. I think it's just being from Los Angeles, being born and raised in Los Angeles myself. For many years, there wasn't a team in Los Angeles, and I think we have to acknowledge that part of it, and it's not the Rams fans' fault necessarily. It just so happened that for so many years, no LA team, and also just so happens that Los Angeles is a place that many people move to. That's kind of the issue I think we have when we're talking about this situation here, right? Bills fans, you see that the sad Rams fan in the background. He's not necessarily sad, but he has a mask on his face. That's kind of the situation we're dealing with, right? The Buffalo Bills, many teams like the Buffalo Bills who do quote unquote travel well. I kind of don't really like when people say a team travels well. I apologize, I didn't pull my screenshot up. I don't like when people say teams travel well when they just happen to fill a stadium out, because are they traveling well, right? There are probably some Rams fans that are traveling, Bills fans that are traveling, but there are just Bills fans in Los Angeles. I think it's kind of a weird thing. You don't really expect it. But in Los Angeles, again, there are just so many fans. There's Green Bay Packers fans, Dallas Cowboys fans, Raiders fans. There's Chargers fans now. There's Patriots fans, Steelers fans. And you want to say they're bandwagons, whatever you want to call those fan bases. But the reality is, again, there was such a long period of time where there was not a team in Los Angeles. So you have to kind of understand that, the Los Angeles has a bunch of fan bases here now, and that's just the reality of the situation. So when it comes down to the Bills, are the Bills fans traveling well? There are Bills fans, I'm sure, that are making the trip from Buffalo to Los Angeles for this game, but the majority of the fans that are Buffalo Bills fans in Los Angeles are probably from Los Angeles, just happen to be Bills fans. So I am going to expect many blue uniforms and white uniforms out there on Sunday versus the Bills. I think it is going to be a close, maybe 60-40, more Rams fans, but that's the hope. We'll have to wait and see. I will say, I want to pull this up here. We have a Vivid Seats fan forecast, and on this forecast, it's saying 47% of the crowd this weekend is expected to be Bills fans. So Rams fans, you got to show up. You got to show out. You got to make sure you are representing every single week. You cannot take a weekend off. If you have the capabilities to get to the stadium and root for your team, get to SoFi, root for the Rams, because this is getting old. This is getting a little bit tired, in my opinion. I'm tired of seeing so many of the other team's fans in SoFi Stadium. You got to make this beautiful, gorgeous stadium the Rams stadium, right? And of course, the Chargers share the arena, blah, blah, whatever. But, we really want to see Rams fans out there filling it out. That is the Rams' home at the end of the day. Got to make sure we show up and show out. And like I said, I'll be there. I'll be there on Sunday. So we'll see how many of you Rams fans out there are also out there for the game this Sunday. Last but not least, let's get into the last bit of news. Rams versus Bills. My prediction. Also talk about a little bit of notes we have pulled up from someone else's prediction. Just a couple notes I want to pull up here and shout out to, I believe his name is Jenkins from Bills.com. Pulled up some of these stats here. The Buffalo Bills are 10-2. They are a 3.5 point favorite. I don't know why I'm talking weird. 3.5 point favorite when they face Los Angeles Rams, who are 6-6 this Sunday. Again, game's going to kick off at 4:25 p.m. Eastern time, 1:25 for us here in the West, on the West Coast. And just a couple of little notes here that I kind of wanted to go down and kind of acknowledge. The Bills have won 7 consecutive games. The Rams have lost their last 2 home games. It's going to be a Rams home game. Bills have won 3 consecutive games versus the Rams. The Bills have also won their last 15 regular season games in December and January. Again, there are a couple other notes here. Sean McDermott, the head coach for the Buffalo Bills, being 7-2 against teams in California. But really, I didn't want to harp on that right there. The Bills have won their last 15 regular season games in December and January. They are a cold weather city. They are a cold weather team that enjoys playing in the cold, and that's really to their advantage, which is why I think in December and January, because they're so used to playing in Buffalo, that cold weather, they've kind of embraced that and become just a good team who plays well in the cold weather, which is probably why they're 15-0 in the last 15 games in December and January. But hopefully the Rams can go in and break that, right? Los Angeles has not been very cold lately. There have some nights where it's a little cold, but it has been a little bit warm out here in LA. So that's not really going to be a factor, obviously, indoor arena as well. So we're going to have to wait and see what it looks like. These numbers do make me nervous, I will say. But ultimately, I think the Rams are in a position where they understand they need to win this game. If they don't win this game, they likely are going to have to say bye to their playoff hopes, more likely than not. Now, there's still a chance to make the playoffs, of course, after this game if you lose. But 6-7, it's a big game. You want to go ahead and beat a team like Buffalo, again, for the confidence, to scare other teams, all of a sudden the Rams are on other teams' radars if you win this game. So definitely something that I think the Rams have to consider and think about. Sean McVay is always going to have his team ready to play. He's going to get his team hyped and ready to go this Sunday. They feel like they can come in and go to SoFi Stadium, beat the Buffalo Bills. I think they're going to be confident. I think Buffalo is going to be a little bit more lax. I think they're going to, not really used to playing on the turf indoors. I just feel like, I don't know what it is. I think the Rams are kind of built like this every single year. The last couple years, it feels like they struggle to start the season, start picking it up as we get along. This is the last chance for Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford, more likely than not, to do something with the Los Angeles Rams. You have the defense playing really well. I think this is the chance for the Rams to go in and win the game. Now, I'm not trying to be biased here. I genuinely think the Rams are going to come out on top of this game. I think it's going to be a bit of a high-scoring game. I think the Rams are going to have to score 28 points at least to win this game. I'm kind of feeling 34-31, borderline shootout at SoFi Stadium. Buffalo Bills, Los Angeles Rams. The Rams win 34-31. That's my prediction. If you guys saw the New Orleans game, I did predict almost exactly what the score was going to be. So 34-31, that's what I'm feeling for tomorrow's game versus the Buffalo Bills. I'm excited. You guys let me know how you guys feel. Give me your predictions down low in the comments. Again, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already so you don't miss any more daily Rams content on the Rams Digest. Again, that's going to do it for me. I'm your host, Joshua Hiron, and I'm out.